Alright, hello and welcome to the JM Discraft channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. Today we're going to be doing my 2020 in the bag. I meant to do it earlier in the year, but that didn't happen, so we're going to do it now. Mind the hair. We're doing COVID hair right now, so yeah. Anyways, we'll start with the putters. Putting putters, I carry the Luna, prototype Luna. This is actually a newer one. I had a different one in the bag for the longest time, but I was playing League on Monday and I lost it on the last hole. I was pretty sad about that. I'm still a little hurt, but I've had this one for a while. It's a little beat in. It should still fly around the same. It should still putt around the same. I'm gonna play a round or two with it before the next league. See how I need to adjust, if I need to adjust. And yeah, that's putting putters. On to throwing putters. We've got 3 of them. One sort of like each stability, sort of. We'll start out with the most understable. We got a magnet. It's a Pro D-line magnet. It's very beat in. I don't know if you can tell. You can see all the chips on it. And yeah, I usually put it on a little hyzer flip, and I can just trust it to either just hold out straight or usually just flip over and keep riding right. It doesn't come back, especially if it flips over. So yeah, that's my understable throwing putter. On to my straight throwing putter. We got the Tour Series Macbeth Z Luna. It's pretty new. Haven't thrown it much. All I do know is that it flies really straight on like any power. I can't really get it to hold that hyzer. Can't get it to hold a hyzer, but I get it to fly really straight even if I put everything I have on it, really. It'll flip maybe a little bit. You know, you can adjust for that by putting it on a little hyzer, having it flip up. Alright, and now we're on to overstable. I have a zone. Obviously, if you're throwing just discraft, you gotta have a zone. So yeah, got a zone. I use it a lot for chip shots, just a lot of up shots, a lot of scrambling out of the woods. Here where I live, there's really only wooded courses, fully wooded. We don't really get many open holes, so I'd say this is probably my most used disc in the bag right now, besides my putter, obviously, because I'm going to use that on every hole. Yeah, I'd say this is probably my most used throwing putter in the bag. It never really gets used off the tee, but it gets used usually around once per hole. All right, that's it for the putters. On to the mids. Got 4 mids in the bag. They all do something fairly different. I'll start off with the most understable. We got a Z Meteor. I use this a lot off the tee, actually. If I'm using this, it's probably off the tee. I don't use it a lot for up shots. You know, it's just for that hyzer and just that slow panning out to the right. And it just keeps going right. It really never comes back. And if it does, it's just a little dig down at the end. Yeah, very useful disc. I use this disc a lot more than I thought it would when I got it. And I say I probably use it like 4 times around. Not always off the tee, but it's really good for scrambling too, because it goes right and I don't have a righty forehand. So I need something that will do that for me, and that's the disc that does it. So yeah. Next up, I think these two are probably the most similar, the next 2 discs. We got the Comet. Comet, it's a Michael Johansson Tour Series from 2019. This one wasn't in my bag for the longest time, but I made the bag now. And yeah, I'm loving it. I use it a lot. I use it a lot in the woods since it flies so straight. It just, yeah, it flies pretty straight. That's really what it's for. It's for that in between, like on par 4s, that in between the upshot and the drive. It's sort of for that shot. That's what I use it for the most. So I'd say it only gets used like once around, as do most of my mids. I don't use my mids a lot, so yeah, Meteor is probably the most used mid that I have. All right, on to the next disc. We got the CT Jawbreaker Wasp. I love this disc. I like how stiff it is. It feels really nice in the hand. It's a bit more overstable than the Comet, but a bit less overstable than the next disc. I use this off the tee most. I don't really upshot with this. Yeah, sometimes I don't use it in a round, but if I do, it's usually for that like 260, 270 off the tee. I need something maybe that'll give a little bit of anhyzer before coming back, but usually just holds a hyzer, holds a straight line. That's what I'm using it for, because that's what it does. It holds a straight line and it will hold a hyzer even if I put a lot into it. Yeah. And next up, we have my most overstable mid-range. We got a Malta prototype. They're supposed to be pretty overstable. I don't think they're nearly as overstable as they were marketed, but they're definitely still overstable. Definitely my most overstable mid-range. I use this a lot for like upshots that I think are a little too long for the zone, because this thing will just fly a little bit farther, and it allows me to really trust it on the hyzer, especially on the upshots, to get left as quick as possible. So yeah, that's about all I use it for too, because if I try and throw it off the tee, it just goes really straight before hyzering out at the end. So yeah, that's the Malta. On to my fairways. I've got a few of them here. I'm gonna throw in the hybrid drivers too. You know, that like speed 10. I don't really know whether to call it a distance driver or a fairway. All right, we got 5 of them here. We'll start out with the slowest one of them all. We got the Zombie. This is like my go-to fairway driver, honestly. It's probably the second most used out of all of these guys here, just because it's like a true fairway driver, and I use maybe one of the hybrid drivers more. This thing is straight as a whistle, especially throwing it uphill. That's usually what I use it for, is throwing uphill or just that really long straight shot that you know you need it to ride. And I can get it to around 300 feet. Yeah, this is really like it's a necessary disc for me. It's something that I missed when I first transitioned over to discraft, because I threw a TL a lot, and that was a really straight disc. And I didn't have one for like the first couple weeks, probably around a month, the first month that I threw discraft, until I decided, sure, let's pick up the Zombie. I rewatched Paul Macbeth's video, is in the bag, and I saw him throw the Zombie, and I said, man, that looks like it would fly probably pretty straight for me. So that's what I did. I went out and I got it, and yeah, just as I assumed, it flies really straight. Yeah, really nice disc. I'd recommend picking one up if you don't have that straight shot. Then we have an X Cyclone. It's 168 grams. It's not the heaviest disc. It's a little understable. I like putting it on a hyzer and just watching it. It's sort of like a longer meteor is how I describe it. It's something that I put on hyzer and just watch it pan out. And it's basically just the meteor for shots off the tee, because it'll go a lot farther than the meteor. And if I throw it on a hyzer, it'll really hold that hyzer. It's not gonna really flip up. It'll flip up a little, but it's really gonna start, like, I'll start it right here. It'll flip up like that before coming back down pretty flat. Yeah, and if I throw it on straight, it's gonna fly straight. Yep. All right, on to my most understable fairway. We got a Sting. I'd compare it to like a Leopard, really. It's not the most used disc in my bag, but it gets the job done when I need it. I throw it on anhyzer if I do throw it. I don't throw it every round, but you know, when it's there for me, I can lean on it and trust it to just go right. Because like I said, I don't have a ready forehand. I need something that will go right for me, and that disc is this one right here. But I feel more confident with putters and mids, which is why it doesn't get used much. All right, on to the hybrid drivers. We'll start with the Avenger. It's a lightweight Avenger. It's 164 grams. I use this for like flex shots. I was playing a tournament 2 weeks ago, and it was like a 400-foot par 4 through the woods, and I threw this disc, and it's like the first time I threw it in a while, and it got me like 30 feet away from the basket, because the hole went like this, and then it went downhill to the left, and it got me like 30 feet away for an eagle look. I was pretty stoked about that, and I've been throwing it a lot more ever since. And I'm sort of like, it's not my go-to driver off the tee, but it gets used at least once around. So yeah, it's really used for something where it's used in the woods. It's used for the wooded holes, something I can really trust and commit to, because that's what you need to be able to do out here. You need to be able to trust and commit on a wooded shot. So yeah, next up we have the Vulture. This thing mashes for me. It's a little beat in now, you know, ESP, really reliable plastic, doesn't beat in very quickly, so it's not that beat in, but I think my arm speed has just gotten better, my form's gotten better. It was really overstable when I got it for me, but now I can really trust it. I really commit to it, which may be something else that helps with it, is that I really commit to my shots in the woods now and just out in the open. And this thing flies super straight with a little left finish. I'd say this is probably my most used fairway slash hybrid. I use it a lot more than I thought I would. After like the first month, it actually went out of the bag for the longest time, and then when I switched to fully discraft, it's the first disc that went back into my bag. It's got my little stamp on it. Yeah, really nice disc. I'd recommend picking one up if you can throw like 350, 360 for that disc that's not quite destroyer level stable. Yeah, and that will still mash and get you basically the full distance speed 10. All right, now on to my meat hook. It's an Onyx prototype, really nice swirls on it. It looks completely different on the back. This thing's a meat hook, as I said. It's an Onyx. Onyxes are meat hooks, although if I put it on Anheuser, I think this is my farthest flying disc probably, just because it holds and glides back to the left. It doesn't hook down to the left, it glides down to the left, and that allows it to get a lot more distance. It's a 10.603, which means it has a lot of glide to it, so it should fly pretty far, and it definitely does. I only started like really trusting this one more recently because I threw it on a hole that I needed a lot of distance for, and I wasn't going to throw it, but I knew I needed it to go left. So I threw it and it just cruised straight forever. And I had to look at two. And yeah, Onyx, been throwing it a lot ever since. Probably gets thrown like second most off the tee out of my drivers. Now on to the money makers. We got the DDs, the distance drivers. All right, we'll go from least to most overstable. We have the Hades. The Hades is something I don't run up when I throw. I really just stand still and throw it because I know it's gonna glide forever, and it really does. It glides forever. I can't get this thing to go straight. It always flips over before coming back, but it never just holds. It always comes back. And it's really nice. It's a really good complement to the Zeus that's a little bit more overstable, that I throw on flat and it stays flat before hitting back left. This disc goes right, and it'll allow me to get like an extra 20, 30 feet of distance, which is really nice for when I need to really just bomb one out there. Yep. On to the next one, and probably my money disc that I just figured out was my money disc when I got it. I don't know exactly when I got it. It's probably been about a month, maybe 2 months. It's the Nuke SS. Love this thing, man. Forehands especially, I have a lefty forehand. Yeah, I just really crush on it. And I know it's going to go right, but I also know it's going to come back left. And I just crush on it. I can get this over 300 feet with a forehand, probably like 360 with a backhand, 370. Really nice disc. If you don't have that big arm, I'd really consider picking up a Nuke SS because it'll fly real nice for you. Don't be scared by that 13 speed. It really doesn't mean anything. I mean, obviously it means something, but if you don't have the big arm, definitely the disc I would choose. Now on to my Zeuses. I have 2 of them. I have a prototype and a first run. I don't really throw the prototype much just because it's a little bit more overstable, and I have a different disc for that. You can probably guess what it is. It's a discraft in the bag. Yeah, but this thing is great if I really rip on it. If I really rip on it, it will go right and like stay right. but usually if I'm just throwing like a normal drive with it, it's gonna go something like this, come out a little to the right before gliding back left. I'd say it's probably like a longer version of the Avenger. It'll get more distance than the Avenger will. And I'd say this is probably my most used driver. I use it on a lot of the holes that I do use a driver for, just because it's the disc I know the most. I know this one more than any other driver. I got it last year when I was down in North Carolina playing there, and I've been using it ever since. I was using this one before, and I still really like this one, but it's more straight, and I like the little bit of dome that this one has. It allows me to really like push my finger into the rim, almost just like right past where the rim ends. I can really just grip down on it, and when I want to unleash, I can really trust it. All right, now to the most overstable things in my bag. We got the Forces. Obviously I have two of them. I have a Z1, and then I have an Austin Hannum Tour Series one. This one's more overstable than this one. This one I'll use on, I don't know, this one, I use these on upshots a lot more than drives, which I didn't think I would, but you know, sometimes you just need that little touch driver that'll get that big skip, and that's what I use this for. And this one, I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out a spot for this one in my bag. I really like it, I really do. I'm thinking like thumbers maybe. It's just something really overstable for the thumber. I'm thinking that will probably be this disc, but I can't get like any distance out of it. Maybe if I put on like some huge anhyzer. Really good into headwinds. And I was playing at my league a couple weeks ago, and massive headwind. Everyone else was going out of bounds into the road right through this thing. Perfect shot, just flew forever. And I ended up gaining a stroke. And you know, that's what you want a disc to do. You want it to help you gain a stroke. And that's what it did. So yeah, that's all the discs in my bag. You got a couple little things in the bag. We got this little disc golfer's code thing that you get with the PDGA. It has a little scorecard on the back. Have my mini. Usually have another one in the bag, but it's around here somewhere. I just played on Monday, like I said. It was in my pocket when I was driving back home. Got a little paper in there. We have a handbook in here, the PDGA handbook. Yep. And yeah, that's about it. I don't really carry much in my bag. Usually when I'm playing, I obviously have water and I have snacks, just in case it goes long. But yeah, that's about it for me. That's been my 2020 in the bag. I want to bring you more disc reviews and show you how the discs fly. I really want to get a camera first, that way I can better capture it, but we'll see. If I can't get a camera, I mean, yeah. Anyways, that's been my 2020 in the bag. That's been JM Disc Golf, and I am out.